Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Whimsy with the Z. It's the same theme song as the regular show. I'm in the process of trying to get a new, but this is going to be a Whimsy with a Z. I hope you guys all enjoyed last month's Whimsy with the Z. We had 6 kids. I gotta write that down. And ranging from 11 to 17, 3 boys, 3 girls. So I think it was interesting, and I hope you guys all enjoyed them. I appreciate all those of you who left some comments in the chats. Andy, I think Mom, Grandma. So I appreciate it. We're going to continue this month with the first days of school. Today's episode is going to be with Mark. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
We haven't talked since last month. How much have you thought about that podcast since last month? You can be honest.
Honestly, not a lot. I mean, I listen to it, not daily, but like I've listened to it a couple times.
Okay.
I'm like, man, why do I sound like? Why do I speak like that? So I'm like, I had to think of ways to like not say some of those words or like just act like that, you know.
Here's an interesting question, because I'm confident that the other 5 that we talked to will have a very similar answer. Have you listened to all the other 5 people?
Oh yes.
You have you?
Yeah, so far.
Very cool. Ideally, I would hope that you would, and I hope that everybody else would. But it was funny because at the end of every episode last month, I was like, "Hey, you guys going to listen to everybody else's?" And everyone was like, maybe." What do you think about the others? Well, first off, what do you prefer to be called? Kids, like a kid, or a teen? Like, so when I say we have the Whimsy kids or the Whimsy teens?
The way I think of it,
Yeah,
we're always someone's kid. That's how I think of it.
Okay, so me overthinking it, calling you guys kids, you don't take wild offense to it?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I don't personally.
Okay. How do you think the other guys? What did you think of the other 5 that you listened to?
Honestly, they had very similar answers to like everybody. Like they're always like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna hang out, I'm gonna do all this," and then I'm like, "Huh, this is really weird," because I thought it'd be something way different. I thought everyone would be different, like really different, but
Right.
actually really similar.
There was definitely a lot of similarities between the group of you. It is funny how much taxes came up. I don't understand that. Like, even as an adult, I don't even worry about taxes. Like, you just deal with it. But definitely a lot of like I don't know if it's like, I'm gonna call it social anxiety, but just like that uncomfortableness of meeting new people. It seems everybody kind of struggle. Like, everybody's like, I have my group of people, and I don't need to talk to anybody else.
I get that. That's how I do everything right now.
Right? You got your comfort zones, and then I remember asking, well, what do you about new friends? You're like, well, why?
Yeah, I'm like, why would I ever like really want to meet someone new if I'm just really trying to get through life? That's how I'm thinking of it right now, because everyone in my high school seems really rude. Like, whenever I walk up, like, there was this girl, like, the first day I walked into class, she just called me a really ugly and really bad words. I'm like, I just walked in.
Oh,
what did I do?
So school just started. You're about a week in, and 2 weeks in.
No, I'm 2 days.
Oh, 2 days in.
Yeah, I started Thursday.
And then you got a vacation.
Yep.
Which is funny because Liam started for 2 days and then went on vacation also.
That's funny.
What did you do to prepare for school? Your sleep schedule? Did you adjust your sleep schedule at all? Getting ready?
Not. No. I mean, I adjusted the time, but I'm like, I normally woke up at that time.
Right.
Because that's just when my body woke me up.
But do you stay up late still?
Oh, absolutely. Well, not too late. It's like 10, 10:30, maybe 11
Okay.
if I'm lucky. But then everything kicks in and I'm like, I'm out.
Growing up, for me, getting ready for school was kind of an adventure. It was school's coming up. You have to go. You gotta get a new haircut. Did you get a new haircut? Nice.
Yep.
Clothes shopping. Did you go clothes shopping?
Nope.
Just whatever you had.
I need to honestly, I have the same clothes from like freshman year because I don't really change my style. It's like either plain black or like it has a color on it, or it's with a pocket. That's pretty much it.
And then whatever clothes you gain throughout the year, you just
pretty much
right. There's always like that first day of school outfit that that first week where like mom was always like, let's get 2 or 3 new outfits so that way we basically, I guess it was for her to know, like, at least I know he has new clean clothes that he can wear throughout the year.
What sucked is my first day of school outfit, I had to wear a G Crew shirt. I couldn't wear like what I wanted. So I'm like, that sucks, but I at least got to dress it up. I put nice pants on, put a belt on.
All right.
I had my G Crew thing, and I had like a sticker on it that I put on.
Okay.
That was just it was just a cool sticker.
Nice.
And I had to help so many freshmen. I actually felt kind of good because it was mainly people from my group.
Okay.
And they were really nice to me, and I felt really good.
Very cool. And we'll definitely get into the G Crew because I'm very interested in the G Crew stuff. Did you go like school supply shopping? Is that still a thing?
Honestly, in high school, we need one of like 4 things: notebooks, a pencil, maybe a Sharpie or a highlighter,
right,
and a laptop. And that's all I use. I literally have 1 pencil, a highlighter, like 3 notebooks, and 3 folders.
Like the composition books or the 3-ring binder?
Okay. Composition books.
All right. Man, because like back in the day, it was like colored pencils, protractor, a TI-84 for your graphic calculator.
We have a graphic calculator, but honestly, we don't really need them.
That's crazy. It just seems like, yeah, it definitely seems like a less stressful get ready for school type life these days. Like I do see the stores have them all, have all the supplies and like,
oh yeah,
I think obviously for your younger kids, I think you need to actually put your binders and everything together. Were you excited to so school started on like a Thursday?
Yeah, I don't know why. It was August 1st. Normally we start like in July.
Right.
That was like really weird because like that's 2 days of school,
right?
Weekend. That's really weird. So all right.
Were you nervous going to sleep Wednesday night?
Absolutely not.
No, because you're a junior. You've been.
I'm gonna go in. I get to skip most of my classes. Well, some of my morning classes because I get to help freshmen. So I get to like skip like the first like few minutes of class, which is always like, welcome in, get your stuff out, and I'm like, I don't want to go through all that.
Right.
So I get to just skip those, and that was really nice.
Very cool. All right, so remind us, what is G Crew?
G Crew is basically a school club that helps out freshmen, sophomores, juniors, anybody who needs help around the school.
Okay.
New people, basically.
Okay.
And like after the 3-week mark of school, we get this crew, like this group, and we basically check in on them, see how their grades are going, making sure they're doing okay mentally, physically. Just sorry about that. Any of that, That's pretty much what I do. I'm just a helpful man.
All right. And your G Crew, do you share with anybody, or these kids are yours for the rest of the year?
These kids are mine. They're all mine.
They're all yours.
All
right.
Yeah.
How many did you get? How many are you responsible for?
I think 13 or 14 right now. And I gotta check in every single Friday
with
13 or 14 kids.
Do they allow you? Do they adjust your schedule so that way? Like, how do you check in on them?
Okay, so basically, the whole week goes by until Friday.
Right.
And what we used to have was advisory period, where we got to sign up for classes we liked, blah blah blah, do extra work. But they took that away.
Like a study hall type?
Yeah, pretty much. But you got to like choose your class which you go to.
Okay.
But this year, they changed it. They got rid of like advisory, and they switched it to just Friday for like us. But it's like you stay in your second hour, and that hour goes by for like 45 minutes. So that's when I leave.
Okay.
I go out and I go, hey, I gotta find my freshmen. I gotta make sure they're doing good, make sure they're getting good grades and all that. So they don't really like adjust my schedule. They just kind of
They let you just wander the halls for that second hour.
pretty much.
Most of your kids are freshmen.
All of them.
All of them. What is it? What is it like? What do you feel looking at them 3 years removed? Like you were there 3 years ago, and you get to see them. You know, you have your experiences. Like what do you feel? What goes through like in your head when you look at these 13 like fresh new minds that absolutely scared to be? Do they seem scared to be there?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
They remind me of me because there's this thing called freshman camp,
Right.
where basically we do all these activities, get everyone comfortable, blah blah yada yada. You get it. But I like ran that. I obviously had a partner there, but she's a senior somehow. She's younger than me, and I'm like making me feel this way. No, that's fine though. But basically we did all these activities, and I'm like, man, they remind me of when I was at freshman camp. This little kid who wouldn't stop talking, and I'm like, man, how am I gonna deal with this?
Are they all very talkative?
There's 3 boys in particular, but pretty much, yeah.
Just goofy, just like to talk, or like a nervous talk?
Very inappropriate talk.
Okay.
I was teaching, like, I was doing all the activities, and one of them just goes, good girl, and I'm like, what? Ooh, that was something.
Because I think I was kind of like that too, a little bit. Where do you think they're like? Do you think they're acting out ish like that because they're like the class clown, or they're trying to like be something they think a freshman should be, which is like fun, happy, like joker?
Yeah, honestly, what I think is when I was a kid in freshman camp, I was like, I'm gonna find my friends, and I'm gonna stick with them,
right?
And I'm gonna do basically what I've been doing the whole time with them.
Okay.
So I act normal, but apparently in high school, I found out the hard way that acting that way is not normal. Like, well, not normal.
Your group normal, but not real life normal.
Yeah. So like, I got in trouble for that a lot. But I feel like as if they're just kind of like, oh man, I gotta find who I fit in with, act like them so they can fit in. So like, like this word subconscious. I have to find my clique. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's how I was, at least. I was like, man, I gotta fit in so I don't look weird. That's how I thought it.
Do you ever meet with all 13 at one time?
Nope.
Not allowed to. Not allowed to?
Nope. Because that would mean I'm pulling too much kids out of class.
Oh, okay.
And apparently that's not right.
Nah. Whatever. What kind of questions did these freshmen have? Because I think we have 2 freshmen in the Z family now, the Z teens.
That's what's up.
So we have 2 freshmen. What were some of the things you noticed, you observed, or some of the questions that they asked?
Some of the questions they asked was it was mainly just where everything is and why we are doing some things. I'm like, I don't really know. And I also got asked a bunch of times if I really like this school. And I, of course, had to say yes, but...
That's weird. Like... Because even if you said no, it's like, it's not like they're going to leave.
Fair point. But I'm like, I can't say that because then they could go home to their parents and be like, yeah, my tour guide said school sucks. I'm like, I can't have that happen. Right.
We're still very early in the year. You got the vacation coming up, so you're going to miss a little bit of time with them. Is someone going to pick up your slack on these 13, or they just don't talk to anybody for the next week and a half?
Well, I haven't actually gotten my group.
Okay.
I have the kids that I'm going with, but I don't have my group yet.
Okay.
So, until it happens after I get back, so we're good.
Okay.
So then after I get back, like a week later, I actually start going to talk to the freshmen.
Okay. If you had any advice for your, just like a nice general piece of advice for your 13 plus any other freshmen, what kind of advice would you have for them?
Honestly, it's a lot of balancing during school, but what I have to say is, high school has been the most fun I've ever had. Like, I've gotten to experience new things, so I'm just saying, like, live your life, but do it in a way that's also productive.
Okay.
So, like, you still do good in school, you help your parents around the house, but you still have fun, you know? So it's like a multi-balanced schedule.
Okay. A lot of you guys, when we talked, stressed out about certain things. What would you do if one of your kids came up to you and was like, I'm stressed out about my grades or a certain class? What kind of advice do you think you got for them?
Well, now I'm technically legally required
Okay.
to like have a sit down talk with them and like be like, hey, this is what you should do, blah blah. But I wouldn't do that personally. Me personally, I would say, hey, this is what I went through, and I want to help you out. So I can schedule times that I want to see them. So I'll be like,
cool.
I want to meet with you this and this day.
Okay.
Just in case you need some more help, and then that's what I would do. But I'm not personally allowed to do that.
Okay, so you try to keep it specific to whatever their needs are.
But I want to make sure that every kid that I'm looking after is really good, because freshman year wasn't the best for me, and I struggled with a lot of things.
Right. Do you see freshmen? I mean, again, we're still really early into the year. Yeah. Do you see anything that they're struggling with now that you didn't struggle with? Like, are there, like, as like school evolves and generations go through, they focus on different things. Have you noticed any differences that they're stressing out about things that you didn't stress about your freshman year?
Teachers, like, they're stressing out about teachers. Like, oh man, I didn't get this teacher that I was heard about, or this teacher is creepy or something. And they stress out about. I've never stressed out about that until this year.
Right, because I remember you and Pinky were like, we would prefer one of like this particular teacher. I didn't take chemistry because of this teacher. But as a freshman, you're like, you don't know any of the, like, this is all hearsay.
I know, and it was so confusing. But I'm like
who are they talking to?
Like, I never thought about, like, oh my goodness, my teachers are gonna suck. No, I thought, like, I'm not gonna fit in. That's all I thought during any high school.
Are the kids currently have that social anxiety thing? Are you seeing your freshmen, following that same thing where they just don't like talking to people, strangers, or like, are we seeing any kind of like social anxiety?
Surprisingly, no. I haven't seen, like, they're very talkative. They make friends super fast, and I actually saw one of my freshmen the other day. Her name's
Joe.
Yep. Yep. Joe lives down the street from me, and I saw them, and I was like, and they had looked at me, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, hey!" Like, they were screaming at me. I'm like, and all I could do was like raise my hand. I'm like, "Hey," because I'm like, that's awkward. I've never had that happen.
Make a mental note. We'll ask that same question in a couple of months, because like right now it's all still new, so everybody's kind of still excited about going into a new school. They're finally growing up, and everybody seems to be happy. But what happens like 3 months in when everything starts to wear off?
Like when bullies start to pop up.
When do bullies start to pop up?
For me, I was always like the weird kid, I guess. That's what I was labeled as.
Yeah.
And I was told that like every day during freshman year. And I was fine with it. But it really started happening after like the 1 month mark.
Okay, so the bullies sit back, figure out what clique you're in, and then if you end up in the wrong one, they're like, "That's the one we're going
Yeah,
after."
I'm like that's how it was for me, and it hurt, but like, I mean, I had people to like help me with it.
Mhm.
Just I didn't really have people to help me in the beginning, which really hurt.
Okay.
So that like lowered my self-esteem so much.
What does bullying look like in 2024?
Right now, bullying is just like it's actually labeling. That's what I find what bullying is. Like it's labeling people like, well, that's the weird kids, that's popular kids. Like I feel like we shouldn't really have a label on stuff, but then teachers started doing it. I'm like, ooh.
So because you are a weird, a little bit out there, a little bit goofy, different sense of humor, and I just call you a weird kid, like that's me in a form of bullying you. Like I don't know if that's necessarily my intention.
Well, it's normally like people going up to you, you're like, dang, you're weird, like, and then they'll say something after, and I'm like,
throw some stank on it,
and then they'll be like, you're such a weird kid, or like, man, why aren't you like them? That's what hurts the most when you see people like, why aren't you like them?
Oh, okay.
I'm like, dang.
And that stuff still bothers you when you're like,
Well, yeah, it still happens to me now. I mean, it's like, it's whatever.
right. It's weird. It's one of those where like you're for the most part, I think you're a pretty confident person with who you are, but then it's weird when some random stranger comes up, says something, and you're like, ah. Like it's interesting of how a random nobody has like says something and they have that kind of power over you.
Yeah.
What other types of bullying do you see?
I see like old school bullying, like throwing people into lockers and pushing them and stuff. But I see the main form of bullying is like online right now. It's just like texting people, telling them how horrible they are and stuff like that, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I've read up on some of that. But couldn't you guys just look away? Like is it so I'm bully Ben and I get how do I get your phone number to text you and just like troll you all like at home?
What sucks is it starts out as friends.
Oh,
That's how it went for me, and like sooner or later they'll drift apart into another like
different clique,
and then they'll start getting really rude, and that hurts. It definitely hurts
because now they have to show off for their new friends, and then they're
like I'll tell someone something in confidence, and then they'll tell their friends, and I'm like, then that spreads around the school, and then they'll find out everything about you, and it hurts a lot.
Yeah, it's different. And do you guys? Is it typically just through text, and then like it just spreads around that way, or is it like? Do you guys have like I don't think kids do Facebook anymore.
No, it's mainly Instagram right now. There's fight pages, there's bully pages, there's dirt pages.
Okay.
I actually follow one of them.
Okay.
And these dirt pages get like proof and like stuff that people think that people have done,
mm-hmm.
and that'll spread around the school, and then that person will be getting flamed. Like, what that mean? You know what that means, right? Getting just absolutely like hammered into, like they're like the outcast now.
Okay.
They get bullied, like ridiculed. And on this page, it's like it's a lot of heavy stuff. Like you get heavy stuff. I'm not gonna say it, but it's like it's bad.
Are these dirt pages specific to your school?
Dirt. That's what it's called.
That is crazy.
So does one. I know one too.
That's crazy. So they're like, and that just blows my mind. So then you go to said school, and then you're like, I'm going to go find the dirt page. Who starts these dirt pages? Who runs these dirt pages? Do you know?
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
I know. One of them is this kid. Honestly, I don't care if his name gets said on here. He's one of the worst possible people I know. His name's and is a bully, like big time bully, to me at least.
Okay.
Because I've been bullied before, but like for something else.
He elevated the game.
He'll do whatever he wants when he wants.
All right. Little Timmy from G Crew comes in and says he noticed that he's on this dirt page or he's experiencing some bullying. What kind of advice are we giving him?
That's a tough one because I've been on the dirt page only one time only, and it psychological, man, it hurts. But I really just tell them to ignore it and stay away from the people who think it's funny to make fun of him because, I mean, I can't really do anything about it. I'm not going to go up to someone and be like, I'm going to fight you because of this kid. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'll try to tell them to stop it, take it off or something like that, but I can't do much more.
Right. So just ignore it.
That's all I can do.
I mean, you guys' attention spans are like, I mean, it's a different, I mean, it just kind of just keeps revolving. Like your dirt page of the week, and then by next week, they've already forgotten you.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I'm pretty sure there were days when I'd come home, freshman and sophomore year, where I'd just gone straight in the room and fell asleep. And my mom would be like, why didn't you come say hi to me when you got home? And I couldn't really tell her the truth. Like, I had, like, the worst day possible. And I was on the verge of tears because this and this happened. But I'm not going to tell her that because I don't want her to worry about me, you know?
Okay. So that's interesting. Is you are put in a position to feel like shit, because of your classmates or whatever. You're now self-conscious. You're bordering on like depressed. Like you're just not having a good time anymore. And then you go one step further to be like, well, I don't want to not inconvenience. I don't want to worry my mom or my parents. But shouldn't it's not really your place to protect me from that.
It's only because I feel like my mom has too much going on in her life, or just my parents in general.
Right.
Because whenever I talk to her, like, I'm busy and I got this going on, and it hurts to see my parents like working so hard just to like maintain a stable life. Because I'm like, man, that sucks. Because I feel like I could do more. Like I could start working, or I could start trying to make some money. But then you see them working as much as they can just to support us. And I feel like I don't want to be a burden on just that one straight line.
But as a parent myself, I would want to know what's going on and that you're not burdening me with your like, I might think it's silly, but the reality is it impacts you differently than it would in me. Like if I was at work and people were talking shit about me, it is what it is. But it's so as a parent, what can I do to be there and support you? I mean, knowing that you're going to try to like slow roll me and not let me in. So one, like, what are some of the things I need to see that you're hiding? And then how can I be there to support you when you need it?
I mean, it's different for every kid. Like, you got to like notice the signs of what's happening. Like, for some people, it's less eating, less drinking, less doing stuff that they really loved.
Okay.
Because they're lowered in self-esteem or becoming just non-energetic for the things they used to really love. That's how it wasn't for me. I was mainly I never really shared my feelings because I thought it was a waste of time.
Right.
Because whenever I shared my feelings to my parents, they would just put me in therapy. And that never ended well because I hated therapy.
Right.
And I could never really talk to anybody. And that kind of carried from like the first time I went to therapy, and then to a couple days ago, where I was asked to go to therapy if I wanted to.
So if I notice if I notice the signals, right? You don't come out and watch, whatever dance show we used to watch all the time. You don't want to go to, Sunday brunch anymore. I'm noticing a change in your behavior. What do you need from? We'll go with you. We won't have to generalize it with everybody because, like you said, everybody's a little bit different. What does mom need to do to be there for you? So she notices like you're being a little crappy right now. What's going? Like, I know there's something wrong. I can't just come out and say and then throw you in therapy. But what are some of the things that you would prefer she address you in that way, or to address those things?
Me personally, I don't do any of that stuff. I don't be like, hey, yeah, I'm going through a rough time right now. Me personally, I would say I'm okay, and then I'd leave it at that. And then if they say I'm not okay, I'm just gonna keep pushing it that I'm okay, because even if I'm not, I think of it as I'll get over it.
So part of this whole thing is trying to figure out how to read you guys and then to be there and not overreact or to be of a support system that would actually be effective for you. But then you guys are so hard because you're like I notice it and I want to help, but you're just like, I'm just going to tell you I'm fine anyway. Could you would you be willing to commit to that if it got bad, like it got to a certain point, that you would then you would tell mom, or you just carry this thing all the way to the grave?
That's what I do. I've never, because the way I think of it is, if you tell them your problems, something's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, hey, I'm going through this and this, and then they're gonna be like, hey, I'm here for you. They're gonna give you a hug,
right?
And then they're gonna go back to what they're doing,
right?
And then you're gonna be the exact same, because no matter what, you're not gonna just forget it,
right? But I want you to know that we're here for you.
Yeah.
But if it continues to spiral, like when do I jump in and be like, give you that extra that you need? I think is where I don't know what the answer is, because
I don't speak for all kids.
Right.
I've seen it a couple times. One of my friends sadly passed away last year. Because he was going through a rough time, and he talked to me about it, and I tried to help him as much as I could.
Right.
You can't really fix or just stop that from happening, because no matter what you do, it's either going to make it worse or it's not going to change anything.
But something somewhere.
Honestly, if you can stop it in the beginning, that's the best. Like if your kid comes home and says, hey, I'm being bullied.
Okay. So what do I do?
Give them solutions to solve it. Be like, hey, do this and this, this and this. Make sure you avoid this person, or hang out with these kids more. Like if your friends are bullying you, drop them, this and this. But make sure they just don't have something to start it. Because that's what really gets them. Because once it started, it doesn't stop, no matter what happens.
So do I call the school and be like, no. Well,
no, absolutely not.
I don't know. It's interesting because we want to give you that space, and then you're like, great, I like the space because I don't want to burden you. But then you're like, I'm just going to continue to spiral, and you can't. I think we're the well, and I don't know. Maybe we'll dive back in next month, give you a chance to think about it. But somewhere there has to be a happy medium that says, I notice that you're struggling. You say you're okay, and I'll back off because I know that when it hits the certain threshold, you'll come back asking for help.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There will be that time.
Okay.
And I've been through that, like.
So we just sit back and watch you just, like.
Not necessarily. You basically just try to help them as much as you can. Like, go up to them and be like, how's your day? Making sure they have someone there to know that they're, like, cared about.
Okay. So helping you by being there, not helping you by trying to fix it.
That's the best thing to do for me is just,
okay.
As long as you're there, I know I'm at least cared for.
That's what I was trying. Okay. That's what I was trying. It took me a minute to try. We got there. Okay. So be around. You have a problem. I'm here if you need it. I'll give you some suggestions, some advice, but don't go to school. Don't call Billy's mom. Let you handle it until you say I need help. And then from there, okay.
Because, like, when I first had, like, a real big problem, it was, like, really young in school. Like,
yeah,
my parents had just, like, split up, and I was going through a rough time, so I went to therapy. And therapy didn't go well. It never did. I talked about my problems, went home, was still sad. So I gave up on therapy. Stopped going for a couple of years, and then I got really sad again because I started, like, middle school. And I was a hefty kid. As my mom calls it, fluffy.
right.
And I was made fun of for that. But I never told anybody. But I at least knew when I came home, my mom was like, hey, how are you? You doing good? I'm here, blah, blah, blah. And that always really helped. Because I at least knew that someone would at least know or at least care enough to, like, talk to me.
Okay. All right. All right. Deal. I think because like what are they called? Like helicopter parents, ones that are just like always just like all over all of your shit.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Sometimes you're just like well, kind of like what you were saying with like this enjoying school is like be productive and just do you and have a good time. Same thing is like this is me. I'm handling it.
Yes.
Give me just a little bit of space, and then if need be, I'll come in. So
yeah.
Do you think lots of parents are too eager to resolve it versus just listen?
No, I wouldn't say that. They're like kind of in like the medium, I guess, where like they're parents, so they want to solve the problem, but they're also like, I can't solve it without really knowing, so they'll listen. But then they'll take like one thing you say out of proportion, and then they'll be like, oh, you're going to do something really bad, or this is really going to hurt you in the future, and now I have to solve it. But like it could be a small thing like, oh yeah, some kid hit my lunch today.
Right.
And then they're like, oh wait, now I got to go call the school.
Right, because now someone's in his bubble and it was physical, and you're like...
I'm like, it's not really a big deal.
Right.
The big deals are like when it gets online and then other kids hear about it.
Okay. What are you looking forward to this year? So, let's go. Let's look at your class schedule a little bit. What classes are you excited for?
Okay. So I have first period ELA.
Okay.
My teacher is Miss. She is the greatest teacher in the world.
I'm going to cut out all the names, man, just so you know.
I know. Next, we got Algebra 3-4.
Okay.
I'm not going to say his name for research purposes. He is horrible. He's weird. I got third hour, which is Spanish.
Okay.
I'm going to be speaking that. And then fourth hour is lunch for me, which is great. First lunch is always the best. Fifth hour is U.S. history.
Okay.
My brother also had that teacher, so I think it'll be fun. Sixth hour is piano. Take piano again. That's going to be fun. And then seventh hour, which is the most excited for, forensics.
It is crazy. They have a forensics class in high school. That's so cool.
We get to boil blood.
All right. So it's definitely going to be more on like the science side of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you so forensics? You're super excited. Any other classes you're super excited about?
Piano.
Okay.
But
yes,
on Monday, I'm going in to switch some of my classes around.
Okay.
I'm getting moved into an advanced piano class,
Okay.
an advanced math class,
Okay.
and yeah, those are the 2 classes I'm getting advanced in, and I feel pretty good about it.
What kind of math?
Algebra 3, 4, AP.
Algebra. Okay. You got the G Crew right now.
Yep.
Do you have anything? Last month we talked about the after school stuff. You doing any clubs? Signed up for any of those yet?
Yep.
Which ones are we doing?
Chess club.
Okay.
I'm gonna go full nerd because now it's its official thing. So it's just chess club.
Oh, okay. So no longer tabletop, aka we're gonna play chess.
Yeah.
Straight chess club.
Yep. And I get to join the team.
All right. So you got a team. You're gonna compete.
Hopefully this year at least. Last year we didn't have the budget for it.
All right.
And I'm joining the baseball team again.
I'm ready to go try out for baseball. When's baseball tryouts?
Fall.
Okay.
Sometime in January. I don't know.
Okay. How are you doing on your workout regimen? Like, you still exercising, keeping fit? You're preparing for?
Semi. I don't go on runs as much anymore because I have to wake up really early. So I'm like, okay. So I'll still do my like little. I'll start my shower. Maybe I'll do like some push-ups, sit-ups, like some pull-ups, and I'll get in my shower. And then I'm like almost half late half the time. So then I'm like, okay, it's time to go. And I put on my shoes and I'm gone. I have to sprint to the bus sometimes.
All right. Overall, pretty successful, happy beginning of the year.
No.
Yeah, no?
Absolutely not.
No?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because things from last year have already started happening to this year. So in the first 2 days, which sucks.
That's right. You'll be gone. You're going to go on vacation. You come back. It's all blown over.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping for.
Right. We do this monthly. What is next month's topic, you think? Some ideas, some suggestions. Because there's certain, like, the show writes, like, half of the show writes itself. You got summer, you got testing, first days of school, we got, like, prom and dances, you got winter break. Like, I can get half of the year with your school schedule, but then I'm like, what do we do in a random second month into the school year?
You want to know what I think it is?
What?
Deep, psychological, horrifying past.
You want to talk about deep, horrifying psychological pasts?
Yep, I'd do it.
All right.
Honestly, I feel like that's going to happen anyways. Like, something's going to slip out, and then you're like, oh, really now? Elaborate on that.
All right. Okay, but I don't know if we'll go. I don't know what that means, but
I just like,
but something maybe like we'll find a topic.
like, how are you feeling? Honestly, that is the hardest question to answer.
How are you feeling? Mental health? Like, how do you guys deal with your mental health?
Yeah, like, that's honestly the hardest question for me to answer. Someone could be like, how are you feeling? And I don't know how to answer that because I'm feeling so much things at one time.
You're like, I'm hungry, but I'm also depressed. I'm also kind of happy because I get to do this. So you have all the emotions all at once.
Pretty much.
All right. And I'm just curious. I was just trying to throw it out there a little bit.
Or hobbies. Hobbies would be nice to talk about.
Some hobbies. Okay. I asked Liam this, and would you put this podcast on a college resume, on the college application?
Would this count as community service hours? Probably not.
No, but it would be an extracurricular.
Yeah, I wouldn't be bad. That would give me a chance to get into my dream college. So, yeah, I'd do it.
I'm just curious.
Me personally, I'm trying to get into Stanford.
Right.
I'm him.
We're going to get there. Do you like podcasting? You still kind of like...
It's all right. Mainly because I'm just going to sit in a chair and talk, which is like one of the hardest things for me to do is just talk. I know that's weird from an energetic kid.
Right. Well, and I think you say more here than you probably say would it be safe to say that you said more out loud today than you had said out loud to anybody else?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well, I think that's all I got for you for this month. I'm excited to hear what happens next month, how your trip was, updates on your G crew, when you actually get your crew.
That should be fun.
And we'll just keep checking in on you. Are you get second episode that you've done? Are you finding any benefits talking very candidly about this life as a 16-year-old? Or is it even triggered yet?
I mean, I'm glad I can help people, but I don't feel like this would help me with anything.
No?
Personally, me, I don't feel like I'm gonna say some like life-changing stuff, and then I'm gonna hear some life.
Oh, not every episode, but you never know. You might.
I've heard many things in my 16 years of living that have been so inspirational, and I've done nothing. I still sit in my room alone.
Mm. What kind of things have you? What's your favorite inspirational quote or thing said to you, or a moment? You have one? I'll probably just cut this part out, but I'm just curious. I'm trying to think if I have one.
You can't change the past, and you can't see the future. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
Good Lord. Straight out of a Hallmark card.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard that was my 8th grade. I think her name, I don't even know her name.
Right? What is interesting, though, is one of the most profound things that I've taken wasn't even that profound. So we'll continue. You never know. You might be like, you might look back and be like, that was a good episode, and I'm glad I said it, or gets you thinking, and hopefully someone else is like, I totally know where that guy's at. Mom, quit talking to me. Just give me the hug. I'll be there when I need you. Yeah, I mean, not everything needs to be like profound or groundbreaking, but you at least think others will be able to relate to some or most or other things that you talked about today?
Maybe.
Right.
Everyone's different. Right. But just remember, the same water that can make a potato soft is the same water that can make the egg hard. Don't let the people around you influence you.
Oh, that's so good. I thank you for hanging out with me today. And we're gonna keep doing this, and we'll just. I think I actually got quite a bit out of today. So, I did not have anything planned, and I'm curious on how much of this I'll carry over to the others. But no, I definitely got some. What's interesting is, again, if I was 16 and I had this conversation, I would probably be where you're at, and you're like, I don't know. But as a 40-year-old, I'm like, I learned something today. I don't know. I think you're gonna look back one day and be like, I like that kid.
There was a chicken nugget stuck in my throat.
Thank you for hanging out. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Whimsy.